Okay, here's one for you. This is one of those little shorts, and I found one of these. And of course, if you click on one of these, then when these people put out new stuff, it'll show up. And I'm starting to find out that these people right here, which is Chris and Esther, have gone on a trip through all the Mediterranean around places. And whenever they film themselves at these places, they end up saying something that they figured out about it or found out about it or want to point out. And what we're looking at here is on the island of Ibiza, how there is a statue to Bes of the ancient Egyptians, which is a dwarf god that they have from there, and actually comes back to looking like a dwarf and everything, literally Lord of the Rings type of thing. Done other videos that talk about him, but what we're looking at here is the fact that way up in Spain, off the coast there, France and Spain, over in the Mediterranean, where Ibiza, this island, most people know about that there's a Phoenician settlement who have adopted, the Phoenicians had adopted Bes and their tellings and so on going on. And whenever they started this area, much like they started Carthage and different places like that in Cadiz, and Carthage also in a Spain type area, which actually comes out to meaning new city. Kind of creative that every place they built a new city, they called it the new city. Then later it got named and then whoosh, went away. But let's look at this here and what it shows.
This is Bes. He was a worshipped figure in ancient Egypt, who was believed to be the figure of music, merriment, and childbirth. As such, Bes was thought to be a protector of children, and depictions of him were frequently seen in the bedrooms of ancient Egyptian households.
He had something to do with protection over children. Whereas you would think of if you showed something like this and you you showed it to children, it would end up being the creature that was small enough to get under your bed or do things like that. But amazingly, the Egyptians had that all turned around for you. And if you ever thought you had something like that, that's your protector guy there, right? But now we're going to make connections into the Phoenicians and why this is even on this island here. This isn't in Egypt. This is on Ibiza. What I understand, right there in a little temple there, and it's showing Bes and other things that are hooked up to Phoenicians and Egyptian type statues, and it shows you a connection into there.
Loud instruments and wild dancing were all thought to drive away any evil spirits that attempted to infiltrate the house. Additionally, Bes was thought to be a protector of both couples and pregnant women. Many residents of the modern Balearic island of Ibiza, which is part of Spain, claim that their island owes its name to Bes. The cult around Bes was brought to the island of Ibiza by Phoenician settlers, whose culture had mixed with that of the Egyptians. The Phoenicians thus named their colony Ibiza, or the island of Bes.
Isn't that crazy? But that's what it comes out to meaning is Ibiza is this island of Bes. And that's where the locals say that they got their name from. It's one of the folklores whenever you go there, and especially at these temples and stuff, that you'll hear when you visit this temple, and you go, hey, there's this thing at Bes here, and he's like, hey, don't get ahead of the group here. I was just fixing to tell you all about that, but here, the Phoenicians started this whole place, and blah, blah, blah. The ancient traders of old, bouncing off of islands in certain areas for stops and things like that. I think it's pretty amazing. Let me know what you think down below. Or different connections that you can make with dwarves over time and things like that. Notice he's sticking his tongue out. Well, a lot of creatures did that in a way that's a protective way, like even in the Gorgon shields and so on like that we looked at before. Let's continue. Something else. Peace.